Hey now, it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another idea on how to reform the police. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for Southeastern City in the US, and I was also in the military. I am sharing my experiences along with my opinion, ideas on how to reform the police. I didn't say abolish, but reform. Some people talk about abolishing the police. Even if you abolish the police, you're still going to have to replace it with something, and that something is going to include individuals. So I'm addressing the whole issue of reforming the police on an individual basis, and some of the things that I experienced and talked with other officers about that I think if we put it into practice, we can better whatever you replace it with, or what if we keep this whole idea or the system of policing. And with that being said, like, subscribe, share, because I haven't been saying it. I've just been on this whole getting ideas out on how to reform the police. I put a plan together. Like I said in other videos, I go back and tweak it. I really think it can work. There's a big part of accountability that has to be in the plan, and I address it from my perspective and listening to other officers. And so I wanted to talk about the whole idea of struggling to blow the whistle as an officer. And early in my career, I can honestly say I did not struggle to do that because I didn't think it needed to be done, even though I saw corners being cut, things being done, because I bought into the idea of this us versus them. And I talk about that in one of my videos labeled Who is Them? I talk about my experience as us, the officer wearing the uniform, gun, badge, and things like that. And when I took it off, I became them for certain officers. Because when I used to get pulled over, I still get pulled over, so to speak, but not often, But yeah, when I would get pulled over, I became them because of the exchange that I would have with the officers. And they would see this brown skin and assume certain things, right? So I became a part of them. And that really helped me to start kind of taking myself out of it and looking at it in a broader view. And so when I say I didn't struggle to blow the whistle, because I thought I was a part of them, a part of us, meaning officers, and we think alike and we want to get the bad guy and we want to help people. And that's not always true for every officer. So I found out and experienced, because when I did blow the whistle the first time, the retaliation and the ostracism that I went through, it was hurtful. And then when I had to do it a second time, it was beyond hurt. It was trauma. It was actually trauma, because that's what made my hair fall out. I talk about this haircut that I have and why I have it. I love my haircut, but I had to get it 10 years earlier than I wanted because of the trauma of being alone in a decision that I thought was right. And then it seems like people that agree with you were afraid to be seen with you, talk to you. And that was traumatic in itself, So fast forward maybe 6 or 7 years into my career, there was no longer a struggle to whistleblow. There was, because of my faith. I did have struggles in terms of my faith and seeing some things wrong, but there was not a struggle to not say anything after that. I would speak up directly to the officers or tell them, look, I ain't trying to give up my house in federal court. So you tell on yourself, just like I would tell on myself if I did something. I'm not going to expect you to tell on me. I'll tell on myself. So I'm going to expect you to tell on yourself when it's time to tell, if there's something to tell. Because if you have me tell it, I'm not losing my house. I'm not sitting in federal court worried about my pension and my house because of something you did, So I would tell them straight up like that. The whistleblowing, when I tell you, the first time was hard. The second time it was traumatic. Like I said, people, it's a lonely place. It's a lonely place because everybody talks. Well, I wouldn't do this, and Sarge he's wrong for this, but you won't tell the sergeant, though. You won't speak up, though. And a lot of times good officers stay silent because It's a money thing to some degree. I explained it in other videos. My second job was more lucrative than my officer job, meaning my regular job. And I did not want to mess that up. And a lot of officers think that way. I don't want to mess it up. So I'll either look away, or I ain't seen nothing, or you can't tell me what I saw when we looked at the same incident, right? And I think in my plan, like I said, there's an accountability piece that is instilled in every tier, at every rank, that allows very little wiggle room to lie, very little wiggle room to blame someone else. And it has to be policy, and it has to be practice too. So I just want to add that and say that as an officer, if you're not struggling to be the good guy, personally, morally, and spiritually, as a police officer, either you're just blindly not seeing things that are happening, or you don't want to see things that are happening within the rank and file. Yeah, I said it. So that's all for now. That's all for this week. If you're new to the channel, check out our online store. The link is in the description. I wrote a book. It's called My Middle Eastern Conflict. We already talked about the issue with the title, so check it out, because it talks about me taking an inward look at myself, going through the second time of being ostracized and retaliated against. And there's some things that I discovered about myself and the Middle Eastern journey that I took, so to speak. The link for that book is in the description. You can find it on Amazon or lulu.com under the Spirituality and Religion tab. And as is our tradition, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.